Like, comment, subscribe, and let's do this.
What will happen over the course of the next 66 laps? Max Verstappen is champion of the world!
You've been hearing about F1 too, right? Cool, let's talk about
Yeah.
Formula One racing.
It's like more popular now. Like I hear about it a lot.
Drive to survive.
it. This is a car race at over 200 miles an hour in cities all over the world
Miami Grand Prix, Bahrain Grand Prix, here in Monaco.
with insanely famous drivers
Ricciardo.
Lewis Hamilton, seven-time world
and
champion.
100-person teams, racing cars so advanced that they're practically spaceships, and so expensive that they had to make a rule that teams couldn't spend more than $140 million each. And it's only getting bigger.
Damn.
Just
$140 million? That's a lot of money, bro. But I wanted to say, like, I've never watched an F1 race before. Like, never. I know I'm wearing a Red Bull, like, t-shirt, but I just haven't, guys. I'm not a Red Bull fan or anything, but I know of F1 and a few drivers like Lewis Hamilton, Lando Norris, and Verstappen, I think. I think he drives for Red Bull. But other than that, I don't know anything. I don't know the rules, like anything at all. So this will be like a huge learning moment. So let's go.
Just look at this. This is from a construction camera at one of 2 new US racetracks. This one's in Miami. This cost $40 million to build, and it hosted nearly 250,000 people over 3 days. That's a Super Bowl worth of people every day. And one of them was me.
It's the first ever Miami Grand Prix. We're racing in the States and it's lights out, away we go.
I just
A lot of
love
famous
F1.
people.
But a lot of people, because of all this hype, they're hearing about it right now for the first time. And they're feeling a little bit,
I don't understand.
So let's get into it. This is F1 explained for rookies. What you need to know to keep up with this crazy, expensive sport that everyone's suddenly obsessed with.
Lewis Hamilton!
Verstappen holds it!
It's done.
But it's also a look at the bigger question here, the huge question, which is, why do this? Like, why pour
Yeah,
so much
why
money,
though?
so much technological effort into F1, into entertainment?
What do you
The
get
answer
out
is
of
what
this?
we get in return. This isn't just a car race. This is a space program for the road.
General growth in interest.
F1's becoming much more of a thing here in the States.
Monaco Grand Prix. Win the Italian
Man,
Grand
the
Prix.
sound on
Bahrain
these
Grand Prix.
cars. The sound.
If you're new to F1, you might know its American cousins. NASCAR has the least
Bro, what kind of engines do they use on these F1 cars? Because I don't know. If somebody knows, please tell me. I know they used to use like V10s. I don't know about now, but if somebody knows, please tell me. And the only reason why like I'm interested in F1 now is because I heard like Audi is going into F1, so I'm going to be an Audi boy. Just putting that out there. So yeah.
family resemblance. Closed cockpits, oval tracks. IndyCar and F1 look more related. They've got the spaghetti-looking track, open cockpits. But there's one really important difference between these two. And it's the reason why F1 specifically is such a big deal. In IndyCar, all of the cars use the same frame, or chassis, the DW12. So the competition here is mostly in how you race that car. But in F1, every team has to design and manufacture their own cars. And the best part is that they get to improve the cars between each race, or not. depending
I
on
always
how
thought
they
it
do
was
So
the same
competition
car.
in F1 actually centers around the car itself. Not just how you race it, but also how you build it and rebuild it again and again and again. This is why I love F1. It looks like the sport of daredevils, but much more than that. It's the sport of nerds. Okay, each team races 2 cars, so 2 drivers for the same team.
Okay.
Each event, or Grand Prix, is 3 days: practice, qualifying, and race day. I watch these on TV every time they're on, but this was the first time I ever got to see it in person.
Got to see the car up close. That was awesome. Now I am
So you basically just, you don't just
I have
rock
never had
up
more
and
fun at a sporting event
race.
and seen less of what was actually going on.
So right now they're about to do a practice.
Here's how this works. The order of who does the fastest lap on qualifying day becomes the lineup at the starting line on race day. And passing isn't easy, so where you start is a really big deal. Depending on where drivers finish, they get different numbers of points. After 10th place, no points for you.
Nothing for you.
Drivers want to get the most points themselves.
Wait,
to win something
what?
called where you start is a really big deal. Depending on where drivers finish, they get different numbers of points. After 10th place, no points for you.
Nothing for you.
Drivers want to get the most points themselves to win something called the Drivers' Championship. But teams want to get the most points total to win the Constructors' Championship. The two championship thing actually kind of makes for funny mismatched incentives sometimes. You can hear it on the radio when teams have one strategy, like they want to let drivers pass each other, and drivers get really mad about that.
If he's quicker, we let him quick. That's very unfair, but okay.
But generally, everybody agrees about the big things, which are drivers, race your fastest. Teams, make the best car.
So basically a team can have a strategy where like they decide which of their drivers is going to win the race. Or what? Like I really don't get that. Like a strategy can be centered around one of the drivers. If that's so, then if that's it, then doesn't that feel like unfair? If I'm in front, they can then tell me that I should let my teammate go past. Oh my god.
All right, here's the fun part.
Lego is here. Hey, kids, look.
There's my driver. Hello, Lewis Hamilton. Think of an F1 car like an airplane upside down. Both meant to move as quickly through the air as possible, right? But where an airplane's wings work to lift it up, these cars' wings work to keep it down. Why? Because winning doesn't just depend on going fast. It also depends on keeping control.
So they have insane
That
amounts of
requires a firm
downforce.
grip on the ground. Take a look at the shape of this car. Now watch how the air moves across it. See how some goes above the wing and some squeezes the long way underneath it? That creates a situation where there's higher pressure above and lower
Bro.
pressure below, sucking the car toward the ground.
Then how low are these things? They have to be so low because, and the downforce has to be so insane because on some of the clips I've seen here, I've seen like actual sparks on the tarmac.
That's actually happening all over the car, not just on the wings. And we could talk for hours about the design features on this thing, how they shape and use the air. Some pull air in through the car to cool it down. You can actually see there's a hole there. I think they're trying to imply that on my Lego model. Some actually let
the
the driver
air is
release air,
insane.
lessening that downward pressure and allowing them to go faster in order to pass. It's kind of like a Mario boost. You can actually hear this in a race. Listen for DRS here.
Now, Charles Leclerc is going to have DRS to try
Oh
and fight
my
it back.
god.
Together, an F1 car is just a symphony of aerodynamics. I actually got to see them up close and personal when I was in Miami. We're going.
I've always heard them saying DRS, but I
absolutely
never
did
knew
not
what
keep
it meant.
You can see teams perfecting these cars over the years, understanding the need for wings and adding them and changing the shape and pushing our understanding of aerodynamics to shave off just fractions of a second. Hundreds, sometimes thousands of people work on this, all for one team. So, how much does this cost?
Yeah, I want to know that too, because
F1 teams
It's
don't
gotta
really want
be
to share the details
expensive.
here, so there's a lot of speculation. But they're also companies, and some of them have to file their financials somewhere. So with a little bit of research into various European countries' reporting requirements, hold on. Dun, 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 dun. Here they are.
that's a lot of
Annual
paperwork.
reports for every F1 team I could find, which is actually 8 out of 10, so I'm feeling pretty good about it.
It's pretty good.
As a fan, this is kind of cool. Like, look, this is Toto Wolff's signature. What I learned from all this is that running an F1 team costs anywhere from $95 million to $425 million.
Ooh, that's a lot of money.
That's a lot of
A year
money.
after these were filed, F1 instituted a new rule saying all teams were only allowed to spend $140 million. So these reports are going to look a lot different for this next coming year.
Oh, good.
Still a lot. No matter what,
So this like budget, is it a yearly budget or quarters? Like, I don't know. If somebody knows that, please put that in the comments because I want to know. Are they allowed to spend that in the year, or it's divided into months or whatever it is?
F1 teams spend a ton of money. So what do they make? These reports show that F1 teams make approximately nothing.
Damn.
They run surprisingly close to break even.
Why
Red Bull,
do
for
it
example,
then?
made $230 million in revenue, and then add these two up, $229 million in costs, and they ended up with approximately $1.2 million in profit. This is in pounds,
Wow.
actually, so that's $1.5 million.
So this is a money
These
pit.
aren't the wildly profitable enterprises I was imagining. So why do they do it? Well, take a look at this. This is the Ferrari annual report. Our brand image depends in part on the success of our Formula One racing team. The racing team is a key component of our marketing strategy.
Oh,
It's
yeah. That makes sense.
It's great.
They use F1 to sell other stuff, whether that's luxury sports cars or a sports drink.
Red Bull gives you wings.
I mean, as entertainment,
Yeah.
F1 is incredible. But a lot of people do feel that it's somewhat wasteful.
How much does a Formula One car cost?
$400 million.
Was it worth all that money?
This is bigger than F1. It's kind of crazy to think about how much work we as a species put into entertaining ourselves. But I think what makes F1 feel particularly acute for some people is the technology element here. All of this engineering work and all of this energy being spent on 20 fossil fuel reliant cars makes people wonder sometimes if that energy might be better spent elsewhere.
Like literally anywhere else.
But
So that would mean that the tech being used in let's go with the marketing thing first before I get into the other thing. But so that essentially means that if you see a certain brand winning in F1, because the brand gets that success and that notoriety for winning, I don't know if that's the correct word to use, but since the team is doing good, more people want to buy their product because they know it for winning, for being fast, for all those great things. It's a great brand then. So they will sell more. So they're making more indirectly. I don't know if that makes sense. And another thing is, since it forces teams to be to come up with new tech, to engineer new ways to do things, that technology then sort of trickles down to your everyday car technology used in your normal car. I don't know if that makes sense, but that's what I think.
F1 is more than just entertainment. It's better thought of actually as one giant experiment. F1 pushes everything to the extreme. What do you need to create to compete at this level, to keep control at these speeds, to keep the driver safe in these conditions? The idea is that the technology that they build ends up trickling down to all of us non-race car drivers.
Yeah.
My question was, is this actually true or does it just sound good? I wanted to find specific car parts that were developed for F1 and then ended up in my car. But the more research I did, the more complicated it got. People often talk about paddle shifters, for example, but those were actually developed decades before F1. F1 teams just made them better. Same for active suspension, anti-lock brakes, traction control. What I found was that F1 was less trickle-down and more flywheel. F1 combines technologies that might already exist and then pushes them to an extreme, making them better in the process and then inspiring, or literally manufacturing, better tech for all of us. For example, take thermal efficiency, the percentage of energy from combustion that actually makes the car go, as opposed to being lost to heat. Most combustion road cars have a thermal efficiency between 20 and 30%, which means only a third of the energy actually makes the car go. F1 cars can't refuel during a race, so there's a very strong incentive for them to be efficient.
Yeah, you gotta come up
They're at
with
about 50%
something.
now, thanks to new hybrid engines, gains that have been dragging the rest of the car industry forward.
That's
Or
a
data
huge
collection.
difference.
Sensors on F1 cars collect huge amounts of information and then feed it back to the driver and the team. They didn't invent a lot of these systems, but they use them in ways that they've never been used before. And that's actually getting more and more important as we move potentially towards self-driving cars. This is the real promise of F1, and it all stems from the original.
Man, I never knew this, but this all makes sense though. Like a lot of cars now have electric cars specifically. A lot of electric cars now have this types of technology in them, like LiDAR scanners, all that stuff. We even have like Waymo cars. We don't have Waymo in my country, but yeah, I always see it in America, but yeah. And in
Requirement
China.
to build their own cars. Basically, we'll do all of this research and development, and we'll create new technologies and also combine all of the cutting edge tech, and we'll push it to its limits and develop it further, and you don't even need to pay for it. We'll race these things against other groups of engineers doing exactly the same thing in this crazy round-the-world sport that lots of people really love, that is actually, at the end of the day, the biggest, most expensive group project science competition of all time.
Simply, yeah, she's not
Whether or
wrong.
not we should spend money on lots of our efforts to learn. And yet, they consistently push forward both the tech that we actually use and our understanding of the world around us. In this case, it also makes some money, and it's fun to watch. I think once you see the promise of F1, it allows you to think differently about lots of things. We need people working far beyond the edge, like pulling forward the limits of what we can do. The question now is, what do we need to learn next?
The future.
If F1 pushes forward car innovation and the future of cars is electric, does F1 need to get more electric too? And if F1 doesn't go more electric, does it get farther and farther from its original promise over time? Less applicable to the technology that we use and more a novelty. Oh, let's go watch those cars that use gas. I don't know. Now
I
you're
don't
up to
know
speed.
too,
You can
man.
watch a race, you can enjoy it with your friends, and you can also speculate, like the rest of us, where it's all gonna go. I'll be watching with you, and I'll be rooting for my favorite team.
Yeah, I don't know too, man. Like, will it go electric? But I feel like a lot of F1 fans, or a lot of like car people, they like combustion engines. Not so much electric cars, but I love both. And I think there's a Formula E. I think I've seen a Formula E, mainly from like TikTok and stuff like that, but I don't know how famous that is. If somebody knows, please tell me. Are they trying to get like ahead of the curve by doing Formula E and hoping like it catches on in the future? I don't know, I really don't know. But if you want me to react to more F1 like videos, more specifically like F1 rules, I'd like to watch that. So put the links in the comments for that, because I'd like to know the rules before I like watch more videos of F1. On that note, thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.